I never thought a simple getaway in an RV would turn into a nightmare that nearly cost me my badge, my freedom, and maybe even my life. One minute I was stepping out into the quiet of a country driveway with two of my closest friends laughing about barbecue and road miles. Next thing I knew, I was face down in gravel, a gun aimed at the back of my head, all because of a woman with a grudge and a lie that spread like wildfire. And it all started with one question shouted at us from across the property line. "Are you the new gardeners?" Let me back up. My name's Marcus. I've been a detective for City Metro PD for over a decade. My brothers Jay and T. We came up through the academy together, took bullets together, buried partners together. The job grinds you down, and for years we'd been talking about getting away. Finally, our schedules lined up. We rented a massive RV, loaded it with food and beer, and christened it the Great De-Stressing. First stop was our buddy Mike's place out in the suburbs. He's got space to park a rig like that, quiet neighborhood, lots of trees. A place to breathe. That was the plan anyway. We had barely killed the engine when trouble walked right up the driveway. She was blonde, maybe late 60s, in a loud green-striped shirt, and she came stomping toward us like she owned the ground under her feet. And in a way, she did. Her name was Karen Whitmore, president of the neighborhood HOA. She planted herself 20 feet away, finger-shaking, and yelled, "I didn't ask for my lawn to be culturally enriched." We froze, three grown men, luggage in hand, staring at each other like, did she really just say that? Jay, always the sarcastic one, gave her a look and said, "Ma'am, I think you're confused. We're here visiting our friend." I tried to smooth things over, gesturing at the RV. "We're guests of the homeowner, just here a couple of days." But logic was like lighter fluid to this woman. Her face got redder. "Don't lie to me. I know what you are. A traveling gang. You case the neighborhood you break in, you rob us blind." Her voice cracked like glass. T, the calmest man I know, pointed to Mike's house. "If you've got a problem, talk to him. He's right there." That just sent her spiraling further. "Oh, I see your accomplice is in on it. You're going to drag him out to intimidate me." And then she pulled out her phone. Right there in broad daylight, she called 911, and I'll never forget the way she looked at us while she did it, smug, triumphant, like she was summoning a storm she thought would wash us off her street. She started crying into the phone, spinning a story that would have been laughable if it wasn't so dangerous. "There are 3 large men. They're trespassing, they're aggressive, they might have weapons." She kept staring at me while she said it, her eyes drilling into my blue shirt. "I saw a gun," she told the dispatcher. "And here's the thing. I did have my off-duty weapon on me. Concealed legal department required. There was no way she could have seen it. She flat out lied, and she knew exactly what that word gun would unleash." Within minutes, the siren screamed down the road. The sound that had always meant backup safety was now a cold knife in my stomach. We told Mike to stay inside, locked his door, and spread out instinctively because we knew what was coming. And sure enough, cruisers slid into the driveway, doors flew open, and we were staring down the barrels of service pistols. "Hands. Show me your hands. Get on the ground." We dropped our bags, raised our palms, and laid down on sharp gravel like we were the criminals. And while we were face down, Karen kept feeding them lines. "That's them, the one in blue. Has the gun. Be careful, they're violent." I tried to yell through the dirt. "I'm a police officer." My credentials are in my back pocket. The only response was a knee grinding into my spine and a voice barking, "Shut up. Don't move." The cuffs bit into my wrists, and for the first time in years I felt powerless. Not as a cop, not as a man, just powerless. I thought this is how it ends. On vacation in gravel because a neighbor wanted a show. Then came a moment I'll never forget. Sergeant Mac Mustache. Steady voice crouched down beside me. He checked my badge, checked my ID, and I saw it in his eyes, the realization that this whole thing was a nightmare built on sand. They uncuffed us, stood us up. My knees were bleeding, my shirt torn. And there she was, arms folded, still screaming. "They can't be cops. They're criminals." And then, as if the script wasn't twisted enough, another player entered the stage. A black SUV pulled up, sleek as a shark. Out stepped Richard Whitmore. Karen's son, perfectly tailored suit, smug smile. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't care. He walked straight to his mother, hugged her like she'd survived a war, then turned to the sergeant and said, "Officer, I am her son and her attorney. Why are these 3 thugs uncuffed while my traumatized mother is treated like a suspect?" My blood boiled. He hadn't even looked at us yet, but he already had the narrative, and when Sergeant Mack tried to explain, Richard cut him off with threats. "If you don't arrest them right now, I will own your badge. I'll bankrupt this county. I'll bury you in lawsuits." It wasn't just arrogance. It was a weaponized kind of power, the kind that didn't need evidence, just money and connections. Back at Mike's house, we sat in silence. T finally said, "It's over for me. 15 years, spotless record months studying for the promotion exam. All gone. 1 complaint, and I'm done." I didn't have the heart to tell him I was thinking the same thing. For the first time, I wondered, had we made it worse by pushing back? Maybe if we'd just walked away when she started yelling. Maybe. I hated myself for even thinking it. But that's what helplessness does. It makes you question your own truth. That's when Jay slammed his fist on the table. "Screw that. We're not letting them win." He cracked open his laptop. Before the badge, he'd been a cyber guy, the kind who could peel back digital layers like an onion. And what he found, it flipped the script. Karen had a long, ugly history, dozens of bogus 911 calls over the years, all targeting people of color. Not once had a crime been found. And Richard. His law firm was knee-deep in dirty real estate plays, using his mother's false alarms to tank property values, then buying cheap. We weren't just unlucky, we were pawns in a game they'd been running for years. That was the spark we needed. Our union got us a lawyer, Davies, a shark with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. She filed a countersuit defamation false report, malicious prosecution. And when deposition day came, she brought a screen into the room and played the video Jay had recorded Karen screaming us standing still, hands visible. Then she looked Karen dead in the eye and said, "Ma'am, the only person threatening anyone here is you." Karen stammered, her son fuming beside her. Their story collapsed in real time. The pressure mounted on them fast. Drop the lawsuit, donate to charity, issue apologies, and publish a public retraction that was our demand. They tried to push back, but Davies didn't blink. "Refuse, and we'll take this to trial. The jury will see your mother's history, your scheme, every single false report, and the DA will see it too." Checkmate. When the dust settled, Karen was forced to resign from the HOA. Richard faced investigations that stripped him of his license and his firm. Their empire of intimidation crumbled under its own lies. And me, I walked away, scraped tired but standing. Because in the end, justice caught up to them. And if there's one thing I learned through all of this, it's simple. When power hides behind lies, the only weapon that works is the truth sharpened and swung without fear.